For 7 p.m. Pursuant to the provisions of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting was properly provided by transmitting the notice of the meeting for publication in the Asbury Park Press on the Star Ledger on January 4, 2023. Notice of the meeting of the governing body has been posted in the corridor of the municipal building and in the office of the municipal clerk. Roll call.
Councilmember Amadou?
Here.
Councilmember Condos? Here. Councilmember Dr. McHugh?
Here.
Councilmember Kraft?
Here.
Councilmember Webb?
Here.
Council President DeMichael?
Here.
Mayor Peterson?
Here.
Thank you.
The first two items for informational purposes, and the first one is a status update of the J Street Community Center. And I know we've had a number of discussions as well as committee reports concerning that, committee meetings rather, and we also have the bids that went out. So I turn over Karen and Marty, you will take it away. All those involved.
So on October 18th, the bids were due. We received one, which was well over $300,000, like more than 3 times the engineer's estimate for the construction of the interior improvements and the exterior improvements, which is why it's on your agenda for the regular meeting to not accept the bid. So we're going to do some work either with an outside vendor or Public Works, or a combination of the two, to work on the ramp, and in an effort to get that building open as quickly as possible, without doing the interior modifications right now.
At this time?
Yeah.
Just to get it up and running.
And then we'll put a TV in it.
I don't,
Yeah, that's all, yeah.
I don't never see the TV in there.
That's,
That's
so we
fine.
need furniture, we need TV, we need tables and things.
So we flip it around there?
You want a whole table for it?
No.
Okay. Just asking. The building on the interior, I know everyone wasn't in here, it's in very good shape, actually.
Mhm.
We tried to bring it up to ADA compliance, and as long as we can get a ramp in there. I'm not saying we're not gonna do it inside eventually, just like to get it up and running.
But it was a ridiculous quote.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the one thing we really want to make sure we try to do is utilize that, CDBG. And
That's what we're working on. The town sourced out to get the ramp, we 2 bids.
Right. So that's what we decided on. With the ramp, we put that money toward the ramp. And
And the
then
concrete pads.
Public Works could do the concrete,
No, we were gonna sub out the concrete.
sub out the concrete.
That's correct.
And then, look for some volunteers maybe on the inside, right,
You're
Marty?
correct. You're 100% correct.
I guess we consumed about 14,000 of the CDBG money.
15% I think we can use for the engineer.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's still another
It's
$5,000.
13,946.
Prevailing
Ish.
wage,
We can, out of the grant, we can only pay 15% of the 38,000.
I was just looking at the bill from T&M for 13,000. And that's related to the J Street Center.
Yeah, their proposal just for J Street was over $30,000.
The proposal, yeah, in engineering.
So they're not done yet, I don't think.
Okay, so we're on the hooks for like almost 14 grand?
Mm-hmm.
More than that.
Is that for the design?
Only use 15% of 38,000 for
Yeah.
engineering costs,
Right.
which I think is less than $6,000.
Right.
So yes,
Right.
the other 28 we're on the hook for.
Yep.
So what about this 14,000? So we're still on the hook for the remainder there?
So to speak, yeah.
Okay. All right, then, answer my question for the Douglas.
Yeah, yeah.
Anything else, or we'll move ahead with the plan as indicated?
We'll explore every option. Get that up and running. Hopefully, short amount of time.
The next item is a request for a letter of support for Barnegat Bay Sediment Management Plan. And this came to us, there's a draft letter proposed if the governing body is in agreement to be signed by the mayor of the municipalities, and in particular, they're obviously looking at those municipalities which border on Barnegat Bay, and having a voice in that plan is also referenced. This came about with correspondence, I believe Sandy Rick from Save Barnegat Bay as well as they started it, and DEP was involved also. So we had, this came from the separate sources. Any questions, comments on that? Any objection if that, such a letter is sent out then on behalf of the municipality?
No,
No,
I think it's
absolutely not.
good, and I think it's consistent with everything else that we're trying to do for the day. If you're not there, you can't have your say.
And ultimately, there are some opportunities for some grant funds.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
Keep your ears open. right?
yeah, the water quality in particular, which we have a plan that enhances water quality now with the oyster reefs. On the next item on the work session is request for a letter of support. There's a cover correspondence for everyone's review from the Director of the Board of Commissioners, the Carrie, and the proposed resolution that they're asking support of deals with choosing a resident of Ocean County to serve on the NJDPU. And the letter indicates there's never been an Ocean County resident on the BPU since that was founded back in 1910.
Almost.
And any questions, comments, position on that request?
Absolutely no problem with it.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's not necessarily an elected person, any person.
Somebody can.
Yeah.
Appointed.
They're appointed.
Who was the appointing body?
But that's what I'm saying, how does the person get appointed?
Oh, the governor, okay. Thank you.
And advice-
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I think it's governed with advice and consent.
Okay, thank you.
So the governor would just appoint any person from Ocean County to be on?
The mayor just said, not so luck with this governor.
Asking them to, but
Right, okay.
Maybe I'll appoint you, Ray.
I like that, but don't bet on that. Don't bet on that.
Okay.
It's a nomination by the governor for the official.
Mm. Item B is also came about with a cover letter that came from the freeholder, formerly freeholder, now Board of Commissioner Director,
Right?
and it references what are referred to in the resolution as a Christmas tree list, and asking the legislature, and particularly those in the 9th and 10th district, to provide fair and equitable distribution of discretionary spending appropriations in the annual budget, reach out for support, and it focuses on Ocean County in particular. It has a list and indicates that of that particular discretionary fund in the budget, there were no awards of any projects in Ocean County in 2023.
Is this for a Christmas tree?
Yeah.
It is a big county too, right?
Yeah,
He's not running for office this year, is he?
no.
no.
Sam?
And it references a number of projects for Ocean County, about the bay and other items in there as well. Any position, questions, concern about lending support to that? That's on the regular meeting agenda also.
Definitely support it, since we never went through with it, we might get something out of it.
Maybe the boardwalk grant, that would be good.
The Christmas tree fund?
Yeah. No, this is a different one, but we're eligible. Anything is eligible according to some of these awards. It's a
Mission Bay,
swimming pool, new marinas, a number of items that were funded. Dog park. Northern. The next on the agenda is discussion of item 7 is listed on the regular meeting agenda, also capital projects resolution 223-228, and a first reading of introduction ordinance 223-16, which is also on the regular meeting. And we want to turn it over to Sharon, or?
Which one is this? This is the,
So it's number 7 on the regular meeting. So we, Joyce and I found some old ordinances from 2013 that the projects were done with, the funds left on those ordinances. So what we would like to do is cancel the balance in all the ordinances, which is a little over 68,500, and then create a new capital ordinance for the Bayside mitigation, because even though we haven't been able to do any construction work yet on Bayview Avenue, we are getting invoices for engineering and SAB mitigation studies and things like that. So this would give us the ability to pay for those projects under this new capital ordinance called Bayside mitigation projects.
One of which was, what RV had done in order to do the 3.5-year extension of one of the items. So it's those kinds of things that this would pay for.
Yes, we have soft costs right now going into that project, even though we don't have any project costs.
The Tour side, we have the bill from them that we need to pay. And this fund would pay for that.
okay. Any updates on the Bay funding at the federal level?
The American Literal Society was more optimistic in terms of the recent call with the Army Corps of Engineers in terms of a precise number. That's one of the reasons, that's what Karen is speaking of as well. It was there's an estimate in terms of, and it wasn't acres, it was a set limit of what they contend is SAB mitigation needed to proceed. So this is the first time they've actually said something precise.
So this still goes back to the funding for the Bay, that $1.4 million or whatever it is, grant.
That's the same project.
So this is part of saving that still, that's still,
That's
it's all still up in the air.
Still viable. Yeah. The Army Corps is the permit that we need. Anything else on that one? Item D is discussion authorizing the sale of surplus property no longer needed for public use on an online auction website, a 1993 Pierce Rescue Pumper. That's resolution 223-287. It's also on the regular meeting agenda.
And that's the, says the fire department has the new pumper. It's not quite in service yet, but almost ready to be in service. This is the one that it's replacing. It's 30-year truck, so we're gonna sell it on municipal.
30,000 miles.
Yes, and I think the plan was to use, what we get out of that to pay towards the fixing of the ladder truck.
It's already been repaired, actually. Yeah, this is,
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Plan's always been to sell it.
Now, I've had some conversations with the fire department about perhaps selling another older asset too, in order to try and recoup some funds, so.
Do we know approximate date when the other one will be up and running and in action?
I don't have an exact date, but it's here now, and they're outfitting it, they're training on it, so, but I can get an exact date.
Oh, okay.
It's in there, I think.
Just as soon.
Yes, it's very soon.
Any council members have any other work session items? If not, we'll go into the audience if there are any comments on work session items. If anyone has them, if they could give their name and address into the record. Hearing none, I'll close the work session, and I entertain a motion for a brief adjournment.
I'll make it.
Second by Councilman Dr. Second by Councilmember Pratt. Anyone opposed?
Yes.
We'll take a brief recess before the meeting.
Ever, if you permit it.